Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marta. I come from Norway and I love makeup, especially indie makeup and anything sparkly. And today I am so excited because Glam Shop sent me their new Pokusa collection. I think it means temptation in English, and it has a gorgeous palette right here that I have, and it also has a ton of other products. There are blushes, there are highlights, there are lip glosses and some liquid shadows and brushes. So this is the beautiful palette, which is like the star of the show. So if you want to see swatches of everything and how I use them, then please keep on watching. I'm just going to start showing you guys the blushes, the liquid shadows, and the glosses. So, of course, we have the liquid shadows right here. So there's a nude one, there's a really bright orange one, and there's a purple one. And I really like these colors, they're beautiful. I will definitely be using the brightest ones the most. The liquid shadows, they come in the exact same packaging as all of the other liquid shadows, so there's nothing new there. So for the blushes, we have the pink one, which is called Shy, and then the other one, which is more peachy orangey one, it's called Seduction. I really loved how these applied. You can see they are slightly balmy, but they're not too moisturizing or shiny. They're just perfect, and I just loved how it applied. You will see when I show you guys afterwards. I figured I should show you the jars of the blushes as well. They look like this with a beautiful gold jar. And they look like this on the inside. They had like this tiny plastic sheet that was so hard to remove. So you see that I really dipped in there. But at least now it's gone. Then here we have all of the lip glosses. So I'm just going to start from this side. So here we have Peachy, then we have Seduction, which is the other one. And the third one here is called Subtle Pink, and all of those three have shimmers. I'm not even sure if you can see that, but you can definitely see that they're super glossy. And then we have this one, which is called Caramel, which is the one I used today. And this one is called Elegant, and it's got a little bit more pigment in it, and it's a beautiful pink, neutral pink, I guess you could say. And all of the lip glosses came in the packaging that looks like this, which is just very simple and cute. And the highlighters that I will show you now are in this packaging, and it's really big pans. So this one is the shade Seduction that I used on my face today, which you will see. And I'm just going to swatch them here on my hand so you can kind of see the sheen a lot. So you can definitely build this up, or you can leave it a lot more natural if you want. So I really like to have a super nice sheen, and you can see there's no sparkles. It's just super shiny, which I love. And the other shade is called Desirous. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And it's quite a bit deeper, but it's the same kind of formula. And you see it does not actually look as deep here, but the fact that it has a more deeper base pigment makes it so much more friendly for all skin types. So I don't think I would be able to use this without getting like a gray or brownish beige cast, but I think this should be a really nice highlighter for even quite deep skin tones, because you can see that it is quite deep looking in the pan. And it's the exact same formula, super shiny and beautiful. So the brushes come in this see-through iridescent bag that is just so pretty. I have never seen anything like this. I'm just going to start showing you all of the different brushes. So I'm starting with the face brushes, and I'll try to go from the biggest to the smallest because they don't have any names or numbers, but you can already see how gorgeous this packaging, or what do you even call it, like the design of it. It's just like the bag, it's iridescent and it's a little bit see-through, and I love it, I really do. But this seems to be like a very nice powder brush. I'll just hold my hand so you can see a little bit the size. I think I will definitely be using this for my regular face powder. Then here we have a foundation brush. I think this is a little bit more flat than the other ones that I have from them. I can show you, like all of the other brushes that I have from Glam Shop I need to wash them, but here you can see another one. This is from the pink set that they had. but this one is a little bit smaller and more flat. And I also have this from the white ones, and this one is number T123, which is way bigger. And as I said, these are going to need a wash, so I don't use them right now. But yeah, this is something I will try for foundation. Then we have this brush. It is really beautiful. I like to use these for blush, for example, these kind of shapes. I already have the one from the pink set. I am currently using this, which is why it looks dirty. It needs a wash too, but it's quite similar to this one. And now we're getting to the smaller brushes. This is still quite big, so this is something I would use for highlight. I really like to use kind of the sides of brushes like this. My current highlighting brush is from Sueva. It is the 134, and that looks like this. So here you can see those two compared. It looks a little bit less dense, I feel like. The Glam Shop one, yeah, it's a little bit more flimsy, but the side here is what I like to use to like kind of rub in the highlights. So I think this will be a really beautiful highlighting brush. And this brush is something I think a lot of people would use for the crease, but I personally don't use big brushes anymore for my eye looks. So this kind of brush is something I would personally use for translucent powder under the brow after I've put on my colors in the crease, just to make sure that all of my base is matte. So I think I will definitely be using this one for that. But then they also have this one, which is a little bit bigger, but you can see that it's kind of flat on one side and wider on the other side, and this is perfect for the crease and especially the outer corner. So then we have this smaller crease brush, also looks really lovely, and especially I use brushes like this for the inner crease when I'm only going to use one shade there. So this one is perfect because it's relatively big, so it will like reach most of the lid. So yeah, that is this brush. And now we're getting into my favorite brushes from this collection. This one is kind of like flat and like just like the previous one, just smaller, and I love that for winging out my outer corner and also for the lower lash line, because you can just use it like this instead. Really nice brush. And here you see probably my favorite from this set, because I use these kind of brushes a lot. So you see first the new one, which is really detailed and beautiful. The second one is kind of bigger and a little bit fluffier, and that is 122, which is like literally one of my favorite brushes in my whole collection. And the next two as well are some of my favorites. You can buy those individual. So the one next to the white one is GB13, and then it is 127. So you can see that GB13 is a little bit thicker, and 127 is the smallest one apart from the new one. So the newest one is actually even smaller, it seems. They also have this super tiny flat brush, which is amazing for either the inner corner, the lower lash line, or just for detailed shimmers. That's usually what I use these kind of brushes for. I do also have this one, which is 100 from Glam Shop, and I even bought two of those because I love it so much for the lower lash line. So this new one seems to be just a little bit stiffer than this one, so I will definitely get a lot of use out of that. Last but not least, we have this angled brush. I don't really use these kind of brushes a lot. I use it sometimes when I'm using black eyeshadow for the upper lashes to kind of make them look fuller. But other than that, I don't use it that much, but this one looks so sleek. Usually it's really hard to find such thin angled brushes. It's really hard to even show you guys how thin it is, but this one looks really nice for doing, for example, brows. So that was actually all of the brushes in this set. It's a quite big set, and it has basically everything you need to make a look, because you have a few of those flatter brushes that you can use for shimmers, and you have foundation brush, you have a blush brush that you can also kind of use for contour and bronzer, and you have the powder brush and a good variety of eye brushes. So this is an amazing set, especially if you want to try out some brushes and you want to go for a full set. Then I think this is one of their best sets to this date. They did also send me this velvet sponge, and I really do like velvet or velour sponges because they soak up a lot less of the product. I decided to do the swatches without doing them live because my nails are suffering from me being super nervous about my master thesis. So these are the first 10 shades in the palette, and they're so beautiful. I'll just turn down the lighting a little bit so you can see better. So we have the first one, which is a neutral matte. Then we have this amazing iridescent green with a slight pink base, which you can't really see too much here, but you definitely see that gorgeous, gorgeous shift. And the third one is a kind of neutral pink gold shimmer with lots of sparkles. And then we have some mattes. So we have this berry kind of rosy pink, which is then followed by a very, very yellowy orangey brown. I would almost not call it a brown, but I guess it is slightly a brown. And then it's a bright pink matte. And then this next shade is the most exciting shade in the palette. Like, look at it. It has like a super yellow base, and it does not show that yellow on the lid because I used this on top of purple, so that was like a sneak peek of my look for this video. But the funny thing about this shade is when it touches water, it just gets super yellow. And I had to spray this because it's a little bit chunky and I wanted it to not be super flaky, so I sprayed it with my setting spray, and then of course it went even more yellow. So I don't know if this is like a super good representation of the shadow, but at least here you can see what happens when you do that. But it's nevertheless a really beautiful shade. It's kind of more peachy in the base when you don't have it like this, and then it has like a shift from pink to blue. Then we have this gorgeous lavender, bright lavender matte, and the next shimmer is actually even more pretty than it looks in the palette because it is a pink that shifts from gold to green. It reminds me a little bit about the multichromes that, I mean, Glam Shop has a multichrome that is a little bit like this. I think it's called Indie, but also Spectrum from Pastel Roses. And the last shade here is a bright orange, which I also really like. So there you have all of the first shades. So I will just take some pictures and show you the rest. And the rest, like the last row, is a little bit more muted, dark, and grungy, so I think it's a very interesting color story. Last but not least of the swatches, here is the last row, and I don't know, it's something special about this. Like the first shimmer here, it's so beautiful. It's so like grungy with the warm base, and then it has like that blue to purple, and it's almost a bit green as well. Oh, it's so pretty. I just imagine that with only like this deeper brown. It's gonna be such a grungy, beautiful look. And then we have these two. These have the same kind of formula, like the special shade with the yellow base from the previous swatches. And I will say this one stains. This one stains pink, straight up pink. You can almost see it a little bit here. But it has like this gorgeous shift to green and a gold. It's really special. And like this one in the middle is kind of like blah in comparison to the others. It's a beautiful taupey metallic shimmer. But then we have this one, the last one as well. It's a really beautiful, almost green to purple with a really grungy brownish base. So pretty. Also that one would look so beautiful with this last matte, and the last matte is very much a reddish brown. So yeah, I love these colors. There are so many special shades in this palette. I'm just so excited about it, and I'm so happy I got this palette sent to me. I'm so lucky. So now let me show you how I did the look that you saw in the intro. So, you know, in the palette there are so many beautiful shimmers, and I was like struggling to figure out which one I want to use, but I am really interested in trying out this one. It's kind of like a marbly, chunky kind of formula, almost like the multichromes actually, and I kind of love that formula, even though I know that a lot of people don't love that kind of formula because it's a little bit harder or messier to use. but I was figuring out I want to use this. And I really don't want to do something super complicated. I just want to make like a simple, springy, beautiful look. So I'm going to use this liquid shadow that came in the collection called Purple. And I do have I actually used my NARS base today because I feel like I need to use those up. Those are not cruelty free, so I will not repurchase them. But I have that on, and I also have the eyeshadow base from Glam Shop on, mostly on the inner and outer corner and closer to the brow bone because it's a little bit lighter and matches my skin tone very well. So I'm just using this brush, which is the one I said I would typically use here with translucent powder. But I figured that this is a really nice one for an all over the lid eyeshadow, especially the liquid eyeshadows. So I just wanted to try this brush for that. And since these are synthetic, they will work really nicely with liquid products. And I have been trying out these liquid shadows a little bit more, and I have been doing so off camera, and I do really like them. You can just see how nice it blends. And we also do have a matte in the palette that I think will be really beautiful to top this purple with. So I'm just going to add the tiniest bit so that I get closer to the lash line. And I really feel like I want to use a matte over it because you can already kind of see that it's creasing because it hasn't dried down properly. So if you don't want to like sit like this for 10 minutes, I don't even know if it takes 10 minutes, but at least you would have to sit until it dries down. So I'm just going to use the matte called Sukieri Kovi Violet. It's the middle one there. And I'm using it with that flat brush, which is also a little bit more like a blending brush. And I'm just tapping it over all of this. Oh, and I do think I will actually go in with, before I start doing the blending, since I used the other brush for the cream shadow, I'm now just taking this brush from the pink set, and I'm taking the lightest shade and just applying it here so that I don't place any color too high up. Oh, this is like the perfect transition shade for me. Okay, and now I can finish off with that lighter matte purple. So I'm dragging it a little bit above here, but I don't really need a lot of this shadow because I already kind of did all the blending and stuff with that liquid one. So just like this, super simple. You can do this as like a one shadow look as well and just put on some lashes or mascara and just be done. But I'm of course going to use my Glam glue and the beautiful shimmer in the palette. Just before I move on to the shimmer, I will be using this orange liquid shadow on the lower lash line. I think those two are just so beautiful together and just such springy shades. So I'm trying to not blend it too much out because, as I said, I don't want this to be like too crazy of a look. Oh, and I'm using this brush, the flat brush that I said I had something similar from Glam Shop, and it's just perfect for the lower lash line, you guys. And simple as that, and we have a already blended lower lash line. I just love these liquid shadows, actually. I can't wait to make a video where I swatch all of them, but at least now you have gotten to see me use them a few times, and I just love these colors together. It's just so perfect. And just to add a little bit of depth on the lower lash line, I'm going to take this orange shade right here, and I'm going to use that super detailed brush. And I'm only going to place this really close to the lower lash line right here, if you can see what I'm doing. Oh, this is so bright. It's almost like a neon. I've now added the Glam glue, so I'm just dipping into that shade that I showed you guys. It's very flaky, just a lot like the multi-chromes that they have. So I'm just going to be really careful applying it with a brush. I prefer to actually apply these kind of shades with my fingers because I feel like it melts into the skin so much easier. Yeah, I'll just do that. Like there's no point in using a brush because I just prefer using a finger so much more. Oh, this is so beautiful. And the trick with these kind of shades is to not get a thick layer because then it will look chunky and textured. And I personally don't like to foil these kind of shades just because that also makes it look a lot more textured, which is why I'm just really tapping it down into place and definitely trying to not get too thick of a layer anywhere on the lid. So now I'm just taking the other side of the brush that I used to apply the liquid shadow, just to kind of remove all the loose shimmers, and here it is on the lid. It's really beautiful. It does really look like a multi-chrome, because from the side here I can really see the kind of peachy yellowy base, and then it goes from a blue to a pink. Yeah, it's just super stunning, and you will see it so much better when I show the close-up of the look. So I will just finish off everything else. I'll probably use the shade Limoncello, which is right here for the inner corner, and I don't think I'll use anything for the lower lash line other than what I already have there. So I'll just finish up. So I'm just going to, I did my foundation and my concealer, and I powdered a little bit under my eyes, and now I'm going to use the shade Blush here, which is one of their new cream blushes. They have two shades. This is the more orangey one, and it came with like this little sleeve thing. So I'll just try to see if I can pick up some product from there so I don't waste it. So it does seem a little bit like the same consistency as their cream bronzers. Oh my god, that is so beautiful. I didn't even pick up much, so this is very pigmented and it applies so beautifully from what I can see. Oh, that shade is just perfect. I'll pick up a little bit more, and then I'll do this side, trying to make sure that you can see. And I have not applied any contour or bronzer yet. I just wanted the colors to really be visible. Wow, that is beautiful. I love this. I was so hoping that this would be a good blush, and it was, so that makes me so happy. So I'm just going to use some contours and bronzers from Glam shop, and then I will show you the highlighting process. So I know this isn't a part of the new collection, but this top shade here, it's something, it's like a satin setting powder, and I'm just going to take it out so I can see what it's called. It's called Aksamit. I will just leave the name up on the screen if I can find an English name for it. But anyway, this is like a beautiful transition from the matte. Like, I didn't actually powder this area, so I will just show you now how it looks, because I just think it gives a super beautiful natural glow. I don't know if you can see that. I'll just apply here as well so you can hopefully see what I mean. And I'm using this big brush from My Kit Co, and I'm just really fluffing it over very gently. And here is their new highlighter. This one is called, I think, Seduction, yeah. And it's really, I hope, a perfect shade for me. So I'm going to use that highlighting brush from the new collection, and I'm just going to pick some up. I've been really looking for more natural highlights that are still blinding, if you know what I mean, like almost wet looking. So I'm just going to apply this on like the side of the brush, and we will see how it looks. So this is definitely more of a natural highlight, and it's just the kind of highlight I have been wanting. It looks as if it can be a little bit foiled if you really work it into the skin. Oh yes, this is perfect. And it's just my shade, because I don't see any kind of what do you call it, like a shadow on my cheek when I turn around. It's so hard for me to find highlighting shades like that, because I am a lot paler than you might think. So I'm really happy that this one is actually a super good match for me. And the other one that they have is a really nice, more bronzy one. So they definitely have something for all skin types. Yeah, I absolutely love this highlighter. This is going to be like one of my go-to highlighters for sure. So now I have everything done apart from lips. So I will go ahead and use, I think I will use this one, which is called Caramel, and then I will just use a kind of nude lip liner. I do have this lip liner, which is called Slodka. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's a kind of medium shade lip liner. Yeah, this is a really nice and kind of springy shade. So I'm just going to apply the gloss on top of it. So again, this is the caramel one, and I hope it won't be like the milky kind of gloss. Oh, it smells really nice like vanilla though. Yeah, that's really pretty. I do really like it. I think it's perfect with the rest of the makeup, and I'm so obsessed with this highlighter, you guys. It's so pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off with my brows and mascara and lashes, and then I will show you the close-up. So that is the finished look that I created using all Glam Shop products. The only thing I used that was not Glam Shop is the black liner for my upper lashes, and then I also used Makeup Revolution concealer in combination with the Glam Shop concealer just to make it the right shade for me. But the rest is actually Glam Shop, so I will leave everything down below in my description box so you can check it out. And just a little PS, it's if you are looking for my opinions or just to see how these products look on my skin, I always put all the products that I use down in the description box. And the nice thing about that is you can go on to my channel and then you can search within my channel for the product that you're looking for, and all of my videos where I have used them or showed them will come up, and you can just check those out if that's like, I think that could be helpful. Anyway, about this look, I loved how the palette performed. I loved the liquid shadows. I was so excited about this collection because, like, it's not that it's like super unique, but I was planning to pick up the lightest highlighter. I was planning to pick up both of the blushes. I was also planning to pick up the brightest ones of the liquid shadows and the palette. So there were a lot of things that I wanted from this collection, and then they sent the whole collection to me, and I like using it today. It was just all so beautiful. The shimmers in the eyeshadow palette are just so wonderful. Yeah, the shimmers in the palette, they're so beautiful, and they're just a really nice, it's a really nice color story. I would definitely use this palette with other palettes that I have. When it comes to the highlighter and the blush, I love it so much. The blush applied so beautifully, blended beautifully. The color is gorgeous, and the highlighter is just so shiny and almost wet looking, and it's just exactly what I've been wanting. And I literally just bought from Colourpop one of their Super Shock highlighters because I know those are like wet, and this looks just like those kind of Colourpop shadows or highlighters, just that this is almost less sparkly and just shine, as you can see. So I was absolutely thrilled about this collection. I don't think I need to try these out a lot just to tell if they're good or not, because they performed so well and easily today. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked the look that I created. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. And hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!